Look at the coldest, most barren desert on our entire planet today. Now imagine that exact same place choked with sweltering, steaming tropical rainforests. 90 million years ago, Antarctica was not an endless sheet of ice. It was a greenhouse world, bursting with life and massive apex predators. We are diving into a lost era humans were never meant to see. A time when the South Pole was actually the dense, buzzing jungle. To understand this bizarre world, we have to travel back in deep time. The Cretaceous period was a time of extreme global warming across Earth. High carbon dioxide levels acted like a heavy blanket over the atmosphere. There were absolutely no frozen ice caps anywhere on the entire planet. Ocean levels were drastically higher, flooding continents and transforming the global climate. But the most shocking transformation was happening at the very bottom of Earth. Antarctica was perfectly positioned at the South Pole, just like it is today. Yet average temperatures there hovered around a completely comfortable 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Rivers cut through valleys, feeding enormous ferns and towering ancient conifer trees. The ground was covered in a thick, dark mud, teeming with insects. Giant amphibians hunted in the shallow swamps, waiting silently for their prey. But surviving in this prehistoric paradise came with a very dark catch. Because of its extreme polar location, the sun behaved in terrifying ways. The continent experienced massive, unending cycles of pure daylight and pitch blackness. For 6 grueling months of the year, the sun never actually set. The dense jungle baked under a constant, surreal twilight that lasted endlessly. Then winter arrived, and the entire continent plunged into total, absolute darkness. Imagine a rainforest forced to survive for half a year without sunlight. Plants could not photosynthesize, so the entire food chain had to adapt. Dinosaurs that lived here were engineered entirely differently from their northern cousins. Many possessed massive eyes, perfectly adapted to hunting in the endless night. Predators like the fierce Cryolophosaurus dominated this bizarre, shadow-filled polar ecosystem. It was a dinosaur that hunted in snowless winters under the stars. Some smaller herbivores likely survived the deep dark by burrowing or hibernating. Others embarked on massive migrations, moving constantly to find any available food. It was an ecosystem built on the absolute edge of biological limits, an environment so extreme that modern science initially struggled to believe it. We only know this lost world existed because of clues left behind. Scientists drilling deep below the Antarctic ice recently made a staggering discovery. They pulled up core samples filled with fossilized roots, pollen, and spores. The mud they found was structurally identical to modern tropical swamp soil. It was undeniable proof that a lush rainforest once thrived down there. So, what happened to the continent's towering trees and massive apex predators? Why is this vibrant, sweltering world now a completely dead, frozen wasteland? The answer lies in the slow, unstoppable mechanics of continental drift. Millions of years later, South America and Australia slowly broke apart from Antarctica. This created a massive, uninterrupted channel of ocean water around the pole. The Antarctic circumpolar current was born, trapping cold water around the continent. It essentially acted like a giant freezer door slamming firmly, completely shut. Warm ocean currents from the equator were permanently blocked from reaching south. Temperatures across the polar continent began to plummet at an alarming rate. The great conifer forests withered, dying out as the bitter frost settled. Snow began to fall, and this time, it simply never melted away. Glaciers formed, crawling across the valleys and burying the ancient riverbeds forever. The incredible creatures that had mastered the dark were slowly wiped out. Evolution is ruthless, and a changing climate offers no mercy to anyone. Today, the ice sheet covering Antarctica is miles thick in some places. It hides the fossilized remains of an ecosystem we can barely comprehend. When we look at that frozen expanse, we see a harsh void. But beneath the ice lies the ghostly memory of a steaming jungle. It proves that our planet is constantly shifting, reinventing its own environments. Nothing on Earth is permanent, not even the most solid ice caps. The world has changed before, and it will inevitably change drastically again, leaving us to wonder what new monsters the next extreme climate might build.